Welcome, dear listeners, to the Overcoming Your Story podcast. Today we have our first male guest, Arnold Etoua, from the US. So he's from Cameroon originally and he's based in the US. So I know we have a wonderful conversation. Arnold, do you want to introduce yourself in your own words?
Sure. Thanks, Miriam. Thank you for having me, and thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast. I know you are doing great things, inviting people so that they can share, inspiring story to help others. So my name is Arnold Etoua. As you already mentioned, I am originally from Cameroon. I was born and raised in Yaoundé. I lived in Cameroon until the age of 19, and I relocated to the US and to join my mother. So I've been in the US for about 15 years.
So how have you been finding life in the US?
Well, to be honest, I've been more Americanized than Africanized, to be honest, because I've been here for quite a long time. And when I came to the US, I was still quite young. So I find myself having to readjust to my own culture because I've been here for quite some time. And when I came to the US, a lot of friends that I had were just American friends because I was told that if you want to make progress in the US, you have to interact with people from the US because they will teach you the system, they will teach you how to adapt faster versus hanging out with Cameroonian or African in general. They usually don't teach you, the ropes around. Yeah.
It's funny, my mom also told us that when we
Oh,
were in
really?
yeah, yeah. Wow. If there's a message you would like our listeners to get from our conversation, what would that be? If you had like a sentence of or two.
Well, what I would say to the listener is don't ever let anything hold you back from pursuing your dreams. Don't ever let anything hold you back. I understand that all of us, we have a past, we have history, trauma, circumstances, whatever the case may be, but we shouldn't allow that history to prevent us from moving forward. We should continue to fight and push and fight for our dreams because this is what this whole thing is about.
Yes, it's amazing. Can I share with our listeners how we actually met?
Oh, sure, you can.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly the name of the group. So we met on Facebook in I think it's a trauma recovery group. Some
Yeah, childhood trauma survivor,
trauma,
something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
childhood trauma survivor, and I was amazed to find a an African man, a Cameroonian man with such awareness. So I saw a post of yours, and then yeah, I just had to interact with you because I just felt like you had done so much work to be aware of where you still needed to do work, and you know, and not letting that stop you. So I don't know. I just want us to have this discussion. Can you share? Can you share with us how you grew up in Cameroon those first 19 years?
Oh, yeah. So basically, being raised back home, my mom came to the US when I was still very young because I stayed back home when she moved here. I was still very, very young. I believe I think I was 5 or 6 years old. And my father wasn't in the picture. He was not in the picture back then. So I was left back home by my uncles to raise me. And I would say it was hell. You know, I was literally getting beat up every day or almost every day, every week. I was neglected, I was abused. So it was a lot of traumatic experience. And, back home, we tolerate corporate punishment, but the reality is my corporate punishment was severe to the point where you were bleeding all over, you were passing out because you were getting beat up, for little things. So as a result, I had a rough childhood. And I grew up as a depressed child. It was horrible. I've never smiled as a child. And there was a point where I even contemplated suicide because back home we don't have resources. We don't have, well, we may have therapists, but you don't have anybody to talk to about how you feel emotionally. So to me, when I was going through those experiences, I had no way out, and I felt very hopeless. And at that time, at the age of 13, like I say, I contemplated suicide, but I didn't carry it out. So from that
And
moment,
these beatings were from your maternal uncles.
yeah, yeah.
Did you feel safe enough that you could tell your mom, even though she was far away, what was happening to you?
No, because what was happening is every time my mother would call, my uncle would get the phone because I didn't have a cell phone. It was like the landline phone. When she called, he would get the phone. He would tell my mother about everything how bad I am as a child. And when it's time for me to talk on the phone with her, she would just start screaming at me on the phone. Hey, I'm hearing you acting this way. I'm hearing you doing this. Because she already heard that I'm a bad kid. So I never really got any chance to speak to her. Hey, do you know I'm being treated this way? Because she can only trust the word of her brother, But I never really got a chance to tell her that, hey, I'm being treated this kind of way because she already heard that I'm the one being a bad kid. Yeah.
Wow. I'm
Mhm.
so sorry that happened to you
Oh, that's
because
okay.
really, that's really rough. But were you able to make friends? So how did you view adults? How did you see the world? And how did you view yourself?
Hmm. I saw that the world was cruel. People were cruel. I developed very severe trust issues. At that point, I didn't trust anybody. I didn't trust any adults. Um, yeah, I just didn't trust anybody. And I felt that people were evil. And because to me, it wasn't just a part of the abuse, it was a part of being neglected. I remember missing school for the entire year, and no one noticed. No one
What?
noticed.
And no one noticed.
No one noticed. I would get up in the morning, I would get dressed, I would wear my uniform as if I'm going to school, but I was going to hang out with my friends. And for a whole year,
Yeah, neglect.
nobody noticed, and nobody cares to ask about my progress report, my report card, or how well I'm doing in school. Nope, the whole year. And the way they found out is the school ended up contacting my uncle to find out what was going on because I haven't been in school almost the entire year. That's how they found out.
We okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how they found out. And the other thing was on my uncle was he had a good job, so he was financially stable. I remember, so he was well respected in the neighborhood. But it was so bad to a point where I remember there was a time where I didn't have shoes to wear to go to school.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't have shoes, and I remember going to ask some friend that I had in the neighborhood, for shoes to wear to go to school, and they would look at me as, your uncle is very stable financially, has a very stable job. Your mom is in the US. How is it that you don't have shoes to wear to go to school? I mean, you live in this big gated house. You guys seems to be doing very well financially, but you need shoes. You come to us as shoes to go to school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this just I totally see what you mean. And I have many questions coming to my mind. It's
Ask
so,
all the question you can. I'm here to answer them. But that's just the reality of my childhood.
yeah, no, it's you really, I think people we can have the vision of it the way you clearly explain it. And thank you for
No, no problem.
it's so important for us to talk about this because we tend to brush it under the carpet, not knowing that people will have consequences all their life. Some people we have to battle, and stay on our guards to keep these things at bay, to keep on moving, right? Um, when you were talking about your uncle, did he have kids? And how did he treat his kids? Because in my experience, people treated their kids better, and then they treated you. Um, as you just described, very bad. And
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean that's the obvious. The answer to your question is, I mean, you already answered it yourself. is
yeah,
is clearly obvious. I was definitely an outsider. You know,
yeah,
definitely an outsider. I felt very lonely. I felt alone. I felt helpless, and I felt like an orphan because
yeah,
nobody. I had parents, but
yeah,
I know my dad was somewhere. I know my mom was in the U.S., but I felt alone. And when I say I felt alone in the whole world, because
yeah,
I felt like nobody really cared. And I remember my uncle would see me sad all the time. Like I said, I never smiled when I was a kid. He would see me sad all the time, and he would ask me two questions: Did you eat? Yes. Are you sick? No. That's the end of the conversation.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
end of the conversation. So in his mind, it's really just okay. If I'm providing a roof over your head, I'm feeding you, and if you sick, yeah, I can take care of that. But other than that, I can care less. Whether you are sad or depressed and feeling a certain kind of way emotionally, that is not his concern.
wow, yeah. Many people back home think that if a child is fed, they have a roof over their head. That's all they need, and we know that it's not like that, and it's absolutely not like that. They are the physical needs, but they are the emotional needs of a child. Need to nurture so that the child will go into this world feeling they belong to a community, they belong to the human race, because that just cuts you off from humanity. It's as if you're watching humanity and you don't belong to it because no one cares about your well-being. It's yeah. So wow, all of this, and then you get to leave Cameroon at 19,
Yeah.
having lived a full life or even two
Oh yeah.
lives.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Having lived a full life, and I remember by the time I left, the abuse. It was no longer the physical abuse because I was already a little bit older. It was more of a you just do your life and just you're now an adult. You take care of yourself, and yeah, the physical abuse was no longer there. It was more of okay, you do
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
Yeah, you know.
Kind of still ignoring you and
Yeah, yeah, like okay, you're an adult, you can take care of yourself. That's how the transition happened. And at a very early age, I made a lot of decisions personally. The first decision was the fact that because I struggled so much and my dad wasn't around, and obviously as a male kids, you need a father figure. The first decision that I made at a very young age is that I would never have a child out of the wedlock. Never. Because I don't want my kid to experience what I've been through. And I didn't want to take a chance to have a child with somebody that I'm not married to. So every relationship that I've gotten to, I always told those women, we're not we're not having any kids until I put a ring on your finger. No matter how crazy, we're not doing that until we get married. So I can make sure that if I bring a child to this world, they are going to be raised with both parents in the house. Not one parent is living there, one parent is living there, the other parent is living there. Yeah.
yeah, it's true that when you've been through that, I'm the same with I will never abandon my child. I will never leave my child behind. It comes directly from our childhood experience. Yeah, yeah. So you get to the US. I mean, like, you meet your mom.
Hmm.
How is that? That's something too.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, when I came here, I met my mom. She has her whole family. She's married to a man. They have three kids. My siblings. So it's a whole family, and I felt a little bit. I felt much better because I felt like at least I'm coming to my family, my mother, my siblings, and a stepdad. So it was a good experience at the beginning, but because my mom already had this picture of the bad child that I was, as soon as I would do something wrong, she would just explode.
Oh,
And
actually, she never knew you.
yeah, she
She
never,
never got to know you.
yeah, she never knew me. And my sibling are a lot younger. As when I got here, I was 19, but it was still what the one after me is like 10 years younger than me. So he was like 10, 9, 8. So they were getting the nurturing and the attention and all of that. And they're looking at, and I'm the adult. I'm the adult child.
And you're just watching that, what you would
Yes,
have actually
yes,
needed and that you
yes.
never got.
I
Oh,
never
wow.
got, and I'm just watching that, and I can't get that because I'm already looked at. Oh, you're an adult child. You grown.
Yeah, yeah.
you
And
know.
even that connection is not there, right?
Yeah, even I connect, and I would say even until today, even though my siblings are a lot older now, they're like around the 20, in the 20s. We're all adult per se. They're a lot younger than me, but they're already adult too at this stage. Their attention, they still get more attention. I'm more looked at, as an adult. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
good.
Well, you were always an adult even when you were a
Right,
child, because
right. So I'm
even
not even
you were on your
usually.
own.
Usually, I have to. I usually have to step in when there's a situation, an issue. That's when okay, I have to step up as the big brother of the family and all of that. Yeah,
That's really interesting though, because you don't get the nurture, but you get the responsibility. Like,
that's
how do you
exactly what
balance that?
happened. That's exactly what happened.
How do you balance that? Don't you feel resentment? Like, yeah, I
No,
had that too. At one point, I just said I can't do it anymore. Yeah,
yeah, and this is based on the fact that going through what I went through at an early stage, I came to the realization that no one really cared. No one, no one, no one. That was my mindset. When I was still young, going through what I was going through back home, I got to the point where no one really cared because you can see people coming to you because they need something from you. No one is authentic, no one is genuine. And I realized nobody really cared. And people who will act like they care is that they want something from you.
yeah.
So at some point, it didn't bother me anymore because it was a part of my life.
Mm.
It was something that I realized at an early age. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, how did the relationship with your mother evolve?
I would say we have a great relationship, but it's more of an adult type of relationship. My mom and I, we talk as if she was my big sister. There's no such, yeah. We literally have conversation as if we're brother and sister. There's no child and mother conversation. I mean, obviously, I still give her the respect as my mother, but we pretty much have an adult relationship as an adult. When we, like I said, when we talk on the phone, you would never notice the difference that, oh, this is the mother and this is the child. No, you would think that these are two siblings having a conversation because we talk about everything.
Yeah,
We talk
yeah,
about everything. Mhm.
yeah. Because that's the thing. Those years, those 19 years, they can never, you can never get them back in your relationship. You can build a new, different relationship,
Mhm.
but you cannot catch up. Sometimes people think that when you reunite like this, you catch up on time. You can never catch up
You
on those
cannot.
years
You cannot.
because,
And
yeah,
yeah. And I had made a decision that because of my childhood, I made a decision that I'm gonna be a happy person as an adult. Because my childhood was very depressive, I made a decision
I
that
love
as
that.
an adult, I'm gonna be a happy person.
I
And
love that.
yeah, I'm gonna be a happy person. And when people interact with me, I'm always laughing. I'm always smiling. And I remember some people will even ask me, "Why are you always laughing?" And
Yeah,
I'm just thinking that if you know what I've been through, because if you even having that, you see me now. Okay, I will laugh. I will smile. I don't let. I've gotten to the point I don't let things bother me anymore because I'm regardless of there's a fire burning next door. I'm not stressing myself. I'm not beating
yeah,
myself up. I'm not. I'm just gonna. And people usually, oh, why you stay so calm when certain things happen instead of freaking out? Why are you so positive? I made that decision because I told myself my childhood was this way, but my adulthood is not gonna be the same.
I really love that. I
Yeah.
really love that.
But
Uh,
the sad part about that part was in relationships. In
yeah,
relationships, I will get in relationship with women, and I will date great women. You know that I could have potentially married, and then when things become serious, to the point where you know what, it's time to take it to the next level, I will freak out. I would think everything that's wrong with you, and I will find a reason to let you go. That fear of
yeah.
marrying the wrong person was definitely, yeah, a big problem. Yeah, right now I'm married, but in
Mm-hmm.
order for me to get there, it was oof, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go through a lot of relationships, and I realized that oh, it's not the other person because it's me. It's really
So
me.
how did you realize that? Because sometimes we go through many relationships before we come, before if we are lucky, we come to the realization that the problem lies with us. Because I used to be that if you sent me a text and there was you didn't spell something right, I would just not reply back. I'm like, oh my God, who's this person? He's not educated, you know? But at the end of the day, being so strict with others over time, I saw that no, the
Oh
problem was
yeah,
me. I was
yeah,
scared, you know?
yeah. Well, I noticed it was me because it was the same pattern. It was the
Mm,
same. It was I had the same pattern. I will get into the relationship. It's gonna go well, and I've been very fortunate that I've dated really good women in my life. Like I could have married any of them because they were great.
yeah,
Long term relationship, 2 3 years. But when it's becomes serious, I will freak out. When it's
yeah.
time to be like, okay, let's talk about future marriage. Internally, I want that because I definitely want to get married, and I definitely want to have a family. But the fear of just getting into this and it doesn't work out, and I go back to live an unhappy life, then
Mm,
I'm gonna find everything that's wrong with you throughout the relationship. I'm not going to blame you for anything. You're great. But when it's time to move forward and take it seriously, I will tell you how X, Y, and Z, everything that's wrong about you, and I will
yeah.
make it about you, and I will leave. I'll be like, you know what, because of X, Y, and Z, I don't think this is
Mm-hmm.
going to work out, and then I will leave. And
Yeah.
I would do that so that I don't feel the guilt. I'll
Mm-hmm.
I'll make
Yeah.
people believe that okay, it's not about me, but it's about you. You're the one who will not right for me. But
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't the case. It wasn't really the case.
Yeah. It's a form of self-sabotage.
Oh yeah. So the pattern was just it happened so many times, and it got to the point where a friend of mine just told me one thing, and he told me, listen, the grass will never be greener to the other side. So you can jump into all type of relationships, but don't think you're gonna find that perfect person because it looks like as soon as I see a little something wrong, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Because they also say trauma happens in a relationship, right? Like your uncles, and they say healing happens in a relationship. Did you see that you were discovering parts of yourself as you went through these relationships?
Yeah, every relationship that I went through, I've learned something about myself. All of them. I've learned about my issue because when you break up, I mean, those breakup, I was getting hit too. Because it's not like I didn't love you. It's not like I didn't care about you. I cared about you, and I actually wanted to marry you. I actually wanted to build a life with you, but it was fear. Fear was
Mm.
holding me back. So yes, I am breaking up with you, but I'm getting affected too. I'm getting hurt too. So it wasn't easy for me.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the way to numb that pain, I would just jump into the next relationship the next week. I'm up to the
Oh
next.
wow.
Yes.
The next week.
Yes. And the reason why I would do that is because I don't want to go through the emotional pain of the breakup. I
Yeah.
don't want to go through that. So the easiest way for me to was for me to jump into the next relationship. And I
Mm-hmm.
would now would know as soon as I'm done here, next week I'm on to the next person. And I'll go through
Mm-hmm.
the same cycle because I don't want to go through the whole, you know what, you're thinking about the person, you miss them, it's not easy. Nah, I'm on to the next person. The next person will help me forget the previous person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
until you get to that point again. So how did you get to break it and actually marry?
Wow. It was a combination of everything. It was a combination of finding the person that I felt peaceful with. Number one. Number two, it was the awareness about myself that, okay, you know what? This person is not perfect, but this person is perfect for me. They're all
Mm,
flaws, and everybody will have flaws, but this person is gonna be is good for me. And the secondly, I was ready because even though in those previous relationships, I always question, am I even ready to get married? I do want to
mm,
get married, but am I ready? Um, and then it was really just finding the right person, feeling peaceful about it, and being ready. Those were really the three factors because I looked at every angle. I'm looking at a person, your belief, your morals, your families. I'm looking at everything, you know.
mm.
And yes, you may have flaws, but I have flaws too. We can work it out, but I have to look at the foundation. Is the foundation there? Yes. Then yeah, that's how
Yeah.
it happened.
I'm sure you looked at it because when you grow up, like you grew up, you're used to doing those scans even since you were a child, to scan to see who is safe, what are the values.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I'm sure you did. Yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I know you also have kids.
Yeah,
You,
I
I
have
think.
three kids.
Oh, you have three kids.
I have
Me
three
too.
kids. I have twin boys. They are 4 years old, and I have a daughter who's two. Yeah,
Oh, wow! Congratulations.
thank you. So I've
Yeah.
been married for September 3rd is going to be the fifth year.
Oh, wow!
Yeah.
I also got married September 30th.
Oh, really? No,
Yeah.
I'm September 3rd, not
Oh,
30th.
third. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. Third. Yeah.
nice.
2016. Yeah.
2016 too.
Oh, okay. You
Yes.
see?
So almost 5 years. We're going to make it to 5 years next
Yeah.
month.
Yay.
It's a milestone.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely to be celebrated. Yeah. Talking of celebrations, were you celebrated as a child? I think I know the answer, but like birthdays and.
No, no. And to be honest, some of those things still follow me today because I
Yeah.
don't know how to celebrate myself, not just
I
birthday,
know.
myself in general. I
Yep. Yep.
don't know how to celebrate myself. I will graduate, I will accomplish things. I mean, a birthday is really just another day. Even when I accomplish something that a normal person would just celebrate and be joyful about, to me, I would just be like, is,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's just another day. What's the big deal? I was supposed to graduate anyway. This is what I needed to do. So what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have to learn to celebrate. I'm asking you
Yeah,
because.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
Yeah.
My wife is
Yeah.
usually the one who, during my birthday, she do a little something for me. But if it's up to me, it's just another day. Okay, happy
Yeah.
birthday, happy birthday. Okay, just go on
Yeah.
with my day.
Just
It's
go.
no big deal.
Yeah. We learn with the kids because the kids we have to celebrate
Oh
them.
yeah, yeah,
So
the kids. I'm not putting
yeah,
my kids through that. Those are my children,
yeah,
and nah.
yeah. So because when me I became a mom, I saw how my traumas actually woke up. You know, yeah, it was really really hard. So how did, like, when you became a parent, did you like had you done had because I hadn't done all the work. I didn't even realize until I became a parent and I saw that, oh wow, what do I want to transmit to my kids from the childhood I had? I had a real crisis. This question was a spiral, because all of a sudden I start questioning everything. What was given to me and what am I going to give forward? What do I keep? What do I throw away? Do I throw it all away because these people hurt me? Do I take certain things and pass it forward? If I don't want to pass those things, how am I going to pass things that I don't know of because that's not how I was raised? So it was a real crisis. So how did you manage? Yeah, how did you manage that transition?
Well, I mean, to me, is if you have love, the transition to me shouldn't really be a problem. I know how I feel about my children. They are the reason why I wake up every morning. Um, and the fact that the love is there, it gives you the motivation to just be there for them and be a good father and be a good parent. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. Um, but the way I feel about them, I'll do anything for them. And I always tell this to people. If you want to throw my life away, touch one of our kid. Then I will,
Yeah.
and I have no problem saying that I will shoot somebody for my kid. I don't care what
Yeah.
people think or judge. That's how
Yeah.
severe, that's how serious I am, overprotective.
Yeah.
You can mess with me, that's fine, but do not touch one of my child because I know I'm going to jail.
Yeah. No, I totally understand you. And if you want to see my true colors, come for my
Oh
kids
yeah,
too. So
oh yeah.
thank you so much for this very rich first part of the conversation.